Thank you. Thank you.
You are superficial. Just take one step at a time. In everything, God is in control. Just take one step at a time. You don't have to sell your soul for material gain. It will be rough sometimes. God made it that way. As a spiritual test for you to see if you will break. Just have some patience along the way. To the going, to the top spiritually you'll be growing up. By God you were chosen to walk along that road. Keep on rising to the top you are climbing up. Success comes with timing and realizing that you are a beautiful soul. Just take one step at a time. In everything, God is in control. Just take one step at a time.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm your host, Tiniqua Knowles. We here over at Dream Catchers every Friday from 2:30 to 4:30. Today, coming in late and leaving early. But it's not gonna be anything less than what I'm gonna give you. Um, Before we begin, we always start off by making sure that we big up our people. And I want to make sure that I put out there, tonight is going to be craft night over at Serenity's Nest. Every Friday and every Sunday, there's always something going on. So if you looking forward to having something or doing something and you don't know what to do when Friday come and Sunday come and you want to be laid back, you want to relax, you want all that extra drama, all that extra, you know, this is the place for you to be. So, like I said, tonight over at Serenity's Nest is gonna have henna art, canvas painting, along with jewelry making. So go out and explore your creativities. Sometimes you gotta just pay for your supplies and just sit back, sip some wine, drink some um, juice, beer, you name it, mixed drink, whatever you like. So just make sure you go. If you don't have any plans and you want to put your creative side out there, that is a place to go. Um, Also want to big up DTF Printing, direct to film. Um, amazing works will bring your ideas to life. But today we have an amazing shout out, and you're going to be hearing a little bit more about this entrepreneur and what she has to offer. If you didn't hear it before, and if this is your first time hearing it, make sure you write it down because you are not going to forget. Once you see her work, once you see what she does, it is hard to forget. And that is where her name comes in. The name of her business is Memorable Designs, Philip Enterprises. And today, I just want to say, you're tuned in with me always every Friday from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. And I just want to highlight this special individual coming right out of the US Virgin Islands. Once again, Memorable Designs, based right out of St. Croix. Memorable Design is creating stunning, one of a kind resin artwork that truly lives up to its name. Art you will never forget, from custom bottles, displays to personalized pieces, and decorative wall art. Every creation is handcrafted with passion, precision, and purpose. If you're looking for something unique, meaningful, or a perfect custom gift, Memorable Designs is created to bring imagination to life in a way that stands out to everyone. Be sure to follow them and check them out on their latest creations via Facebook, Instagram, and upcoming websites. Because when it comes to unforgettable art, Memorable Designs is setting the standards. Memorable Designs, art you will never forget. Trust me, it will be memorable. So today, I just wanted to come to you guys and like take a moment to talk about something important that could directly impact your future, you know, and your business and give you several different opportunities. The Economic Development Summit is coming up on May 22nd, 2026. And this is not just another event. No, 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 no. We already talked about this last week. The the economic development is where real projects are happening across St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John. That means contracts, subcontracting opportunities, and jobs. Yes, we all need jobs to keep up with the high cost of living, with WAPA, and all these other things. The question is, are we prepared to access these opportunities? This summit is about breaking down how these opportunities work, what Section 3 means, how local preference benefits work and can benefit you. You and how you can position yourself to be a part of this development happening right now here in our territory. So let's start by saving the date. I know I see me posting different flyers and all of these different stuff. Take a moment, take a moment to actually look into these flyers and into these different informations that I'm laying out there because I'm not just laying it out there for fun. I'm doing it for you and for me and for everybody. Whether you have a small business, you're an entrepreneur growing your business, or you're working, you're a tradesman, whatever the case may be, this is a time for you to sit down and prepare yourself to go to the next level. So, this summit is about breaking down how these opportunities work, what Section 3 means, how local preference benefits you, and how you can position yourself to be a part of the development happening right here, right now in our territory. Whether you're a contractor, small business owner, or someone looking for work, there is a place for you in this process. But information is key. Preparation is everything. And right now, let me tell you, we're preparing ourselves through panelists, sponsors, information, you name it. We're going to make sure that this day is something that you not only remember, but you appreciate. And I'm taking a part in ensuring that my community benefits on a different level. So I just want you guys to understand, that we often complain because we say, oh, nobody don't tell we nothing, nobody don't give we no information, I don't know what going on, blah blah blah, whatever, whatever, whatever. Well, here it is now that it is out here. The information is coming to you, and is making sure that you are the first to be able to hear, learn, and be able to benefit. And this is all thanks to the office of Senator Hubert L. Frederick, and the different sponsors and panelists that are going to be there. But Mr. Frederick took his time out to say that, look, we always talking about the government, they have this, they have benefits, they have insurance, they have all kind of things, but what about the private sector? We continue saying we're pushing for entrepreneurship and independence with our people, but then we don't even tell them about the opportunities that is there for them. So when Senator Frederick saw this opportunity of $25 billion in federal recovery monies, he said, look, we got to make sure that this goes out to the people. The people needs to hear what it is they have to offer and how they can benefit. So between myself and the other team, the other staff members and everything like that, we're working hard to put together all the information. And if you watch my show last week, you'll see that I gave you a big, big dip into what May 22nd, this Economic Development Summit is going to be all about. Now, like I said before, whether you're a contractor, a small business owner, or someone just looking for work, there is a place for you in this process. But like I said again, information is key. Preparation is everything. So I encourage you, don't sit this one out. Get informed, get connected, and get ready. For more information, join us at the upcoming Economic Development Summit, May 22nd, 2026. Because opportunities are already in motion. The question is, will you be ready? Virgin Islands, the Economic Development Summit is coming, and this is your opportunity to get informed and get involved. Projects are already happening, bringing contracts, business opportunities, and jobs. Access them, whether you're a contractor, small business, or a job seeker. Don't miss your chance to be a part of what's happening in your economy, in our economy. Don't miss your chance to be a part of all these opportunities. $25 billion is a lot of money. And we want to ensure that that money circulates throughout the Virgin Islands territories, St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John. So, and the people, low income residents, we need to start to invest in our people. And this summit is doing just that. It's opening doors, putting a foot in the door, for you guys, paving a way for you all, for all of us to be able to get in to the necessary positions to elevate ourselves. Once again, for more information, join us at the upcoming Economic Development Summit, May 22nd, 2026. Be prepared, be present, and be ready. Listen, I just got to tell you from my own thoughts, in regards to this upcoming summit. It is amazing. It is amazing to see that we still have individuals that are in office that are not only thinking about themselves, or what benefits them, but is thinking about us and what benefits us. Like I keep saying, economic development and economical growth starts at home. We can't just continue putting our hands out and expecting for big millionaires to come in and give us a little tip of what they have made. We have to start to build our own millionaires and billionaires. Last week we spoke deeply about Section 3, and I'm not going to wear you out tin with it. I just want you guys to be pumped and ready, and understand that the best investment is self-investment. We tend to invest in everything else except for ourselves in the right ways. Me talking about a big Gucci chain, me talking about a baddest new car. No, I'm talking about getting a business license, figuring out what you like to do, what you're good at, and how you can contribute to these different companies. Even if you don't have it to get these major contracts, guess what? You're able to get subcontracted, whether you're doing housekeeping, catering, transportation, roofing, you name it. The list goes on and on and on. It's under construction. Listen, I got to big up again our landscapers, because believe it or not, they are benefiting. If you see these men out here and they're out there every single day cutting grass and mowing the lawn and all these different stuff, listen, they are contracted, and they're building their revenue. And think about it, to start a landscaping business is not that hard. You just got to get certain machinery, invest in that, invest in the transportation, and then find the necessary, the right people to speak to about going in and working with them and for them. If you have a catering company, you can benefit to major contractors, who are on the job site, who's working, and you could go and be that main catering company to ensure that they're eating, that they're getting the necessary nutrients so that they can finish the job. If you're a housekeeper or, janitorial services, same thing. And then even so, transportation. Transportation is always necessary for outside companies, hotels, and all these different things. But let's stick to our small people. And when I say small, I'm just meaning we're not the big major companies out there yet. And if you got to invest in yourself to be able to be stable enough to fit on these programs within these contracts, I feel it's necessary to do so. Do so. We take out loans. Well, I can't say we, 'cause I don't take out no loans, but taking out loans has become something that people do just to buy, the best new things. Take it to invest in yourselves, in your business, in a growing business. Figure out what you're good at. Figure out what benefits you, whether it's landscaping, construction, energy, engineering, you know, all these different things. Like I said, housekeeping, catering, transportation, all these different things are small businesses that these big contractors have to open doors when it comes to subcontracting so that they could be qualified for the Section 3, uh, for Section 3 and local preference rules. If you're looking for a job, get yourself out there. Go to them contractors with them big contracts. Because in order for them to keep those contracts or to get those contracts, they have to hire low-income residents, and residents from unruly neighborhoods and communities. So put yourself out there, and don't feel no type of way to speak up for yourself. And May 22nd, this Economic Development Summit is going to be a good mix and mingle. Because if you have your business, come with your business cards, come with your business plans. You understand me? And talk to these big contractors. Talk to Housing Finance and Authority. Talk to these different sponsors and panelists. Take notes, you know, and don't just take notes, but actually do the work. You know, like I said, me that long, I just come today to give you a just a little taste. Um, each week, I'm gonna give you a little taste more and more of what is to come. For those of you who don't know, for those of you just entering, I am your host, Tiniqua Knowles, author, radio host, advocate, business owner. Yes, I jump on this bandwagon too because guess what? In some way or some form, we have to build ourselves. Not just build ourselves, greetings, greetings. We also have to build our legacy. You understand me? My best friend has a company, it's called Legacy Finance and stuff like that. And her daughter name is Legacy, and it's in our minds. We have to build our legacy. After I leave, I have my children, and my children will have their children. And I want to make sure that I start the road, I pave the road, so that they don't have to be working so hard to get where they're supposed to be. I would love to leave this earth with a functioning business that I could hand over to my children. My goals are be a homeowner. I'm already a business owner. You know, um, I'm already an author a published author of over 16 books now, and counting. You understand me? I'm already doing my advocacy, working with nonprofits. It's so many things. My last thing, really and truly, that I gotta do to really and truly fulfill what my goals are is I already decided already, but buy my house, and I want to travel a little bit, but I don't wait for my husband to come out so we could travel together, and all me and my children and all of us gonna do so. You know what I'm saying? I wanna be I wanna be an amazing role model for the children that I advocate for and for my children as well. So when they see me, they don't just see somebody that is talking to them. They see somebody that they aspire to be. That's why I made drastic changes within myself, within my lifestyle. I'm not perfect. Sometimes if you piss me off too much, you might get cussed out, but I am working on me. I'm working on my relationship with God. I'm working on my relationship with my children. And I feel amazing to know that I'm an amazing mother, you know, and the things that I do, a lot of people wish that they could do. I have 4 children, and with my 4 children, it's it's amazing to be able to be so well put together and to know that I'm doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And being that example that they need. You know what I'm saying? So thank you all for joining me today. Before I leave, yes, don't cry. Tiniqua, I ain't come to stay all day. I come to give you guys some insight, some events that you could go and partake in. As far as Serenity Nest is concerned, tonight is um, creation night, craft night. You could go and do henna art, you could do canvas painting, you could do jewelry making. I don't tell you guys already. If you see that your girl telling you, look, you ain't doing the thing, you understand me? You lost that touch, you ain't being romantic, and this and that and the other. Well, guess what? These events, these nights, it's simple as that. Go do some paintings, take a drive, go listen to some music, Buy some flowers. Every woman love flowers. I know I love flowers for sure. Roses and sunflowers to be exact. And if you're gonna give me something that's gonna live forever, I would like orchids definitely. But you don't gotta come and fix it in my tree. I love all type of flowers, but those are my specific ones. But let's just I've been seeing a lot of domestic violence out here, and I just want to say let's think before we act. Let's think before we act, and know that not every situation deserves your energy. And for our young men out here, you're loved, and if a situation causes you to reach to the point that you have to strike a woman, I think it's time to walk away. I think at that point, at that moment, it is time to walk away. It's not worth sitting down in a cell, if you have children, being away from your children or whatnot, or having these things on your record. If somebody disrespects you, it's okay to walk away. Your pride ain't gonna stay with him. Where I see a pride break is when you put your hands on a woman. And even so, like, some of you men have to control your angers. And women, let me just say, I'm a woman. So I know that there are moments where women tend to push, tend to um, steer a situation out of control where it does not belong. So, women, please stay away, restrain from tempting men, especially Virgin Islands men, and like, learn when to stop. Learn when enough is enough. You can't want to hit up on a man, knock up on a man, and expect that some of these men was not raised by real women, and I'm not downing anybody's mother. Some of these men didn't have father figures to teach them and tell them, like, look, you don't put your hand on a woman, you walk away. Some of them didn't have these things. And I hate the fact that some women feel like it is attractive, sexy. He don't love me unless he hit me. No, that's not so. If that's how you feel, guess what? Therapy is needed. I feel like as if there needs to be a line drawn in the sand that never should get crossed. Because at the end of the day, children are watching this. Just the other day, I saw a situation where a man, allegedly kidnapped a young lady and the children. That is traumatic. Children are already going through so much in the Virgin Islands. They don't need any more trauma. So from the parents, learn how to have conflict resolution, how to communicate, how to walk away. Somebody got to be the bigger person, and as males being the most dominant, I feel like as if a situation is getting out of hand, leave. Leave. And if she won't let you leave, do just like what it'll do you and call the police. But I want to also touch bases on St. John. St. John has been without power for going like I don't know if they got their power restored, but they were without power for going on 4 days straight. Now that is ridiculous. That is inhumane. And I feel sorry for the people over there because that is not just light. That is your fridge, you know, basic necessities to be comfortable. And 4 days, no, 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 no. And here in Williams the Light, the other day, I think 2 weeks ago, we had a situation where we were out of water for going on 4 days. And I had to go and buy water because with 4 children, constant flushing at the toilet, everybody need to bathe. They had to learn how to bathe from gallon of water, bucket, and heating it up and all of that. They went back into my time. They will be just fine. You understand me? You get water to drink, you get water to flush the toilet, you get water to bathe with, you name it. You understand me? These things is inhumane. And I think that with the highest rates within the world, we deserve better. Everybody is telling us who is throwing the hat in the ring, who going and doing this, who about to jump and who about to run and this and that and the other. In reality, Okay, good. But let's focus on who is currently in office and what they can do to benefit us. Because already y'all made those decisions. These decisions, the individuals that are here speaking on your behalf, we already made those decisions. And we have to stay with them all the way until November. So our while is fun and nice to sit down and talk about who running and who ain't running and this and that. We have to hold those that are already in office accountable. And I must give kudos to our senators, majority of them, for doing their job and asking the tough questions, you know, diving deeper in these different departments. I feel like as if they could do a little bit more in regards to accountability on these departments' behalf. A couple of days before yeah, I saw that too. You know, um, they ain't even put up why, but this is just how I feel. If you're coming in for a hearing to testify about budget or whatever the case may be, come prepared. Somebody within the office of the senators need to call these people and tell them these are the documents that we need you to bring and make sure that you have it, and then hold them accountable if they don't. Because this, we have it, but I could get it back to you. No, have it there, have it ready, you know. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, Anthony, I'll be there once I pick up everyone. But sorry, but like I said, let's focus on it now and let future candidates prove themselves to us. This rat race is just annoying. It's really and truly annoying. Let's focus on who we already have in here. We have individuals that are currently running our our island, our territories that are just egotistical, corrupted, you know, and to me, just careless. You know what I'm saying? So instead of worrying about who throwing the hat in the ring and who ain't throwing the hat in the ring, let's focus on who we have currently. Because at the end of the day, none of these people ain't really and truly registered yet. I could put out a flyer and say running for senator or Congress or governor, but until I do the necessary documentations, I ain't doing a damn thing. You understand me? So it's all just a mirage to keep you distracted. And please, please, have a little more class when you're doing your when you're voting this year. Vote for quality, you know. And the funniest thing is, we continue saying, "Oh, we need to just wipe it all out. We need a complete change. Everybody need to go. This and that." But in reality, are you bringing people that don't even know not a lick and nothing that's going on currently? Yes, I feel like we need a change. Do I feel like everybody needs to change? No, but I feel like everybody should put their self out there and showcase what they have to offer. But just don't kick yourself in your backside again by trying to renew everything and then have people in there like my daughter that said, wait there, not knowing what is going on. You know, they have a good talk, and that's the amazing thing. Anybody could talk. As you could see, I'm a radio host. I could talk all day if I want to, you know. Well, a few days ago, I couldn't talk at all. But as you could see, God is great. And today I'm here with you and I'm speaking clearly, you know. But this is just important to me. I feel it is something that we need to sit and think about. Our current leaders and also If you want to talk about the upcoming election, stop joking because it's nothing funny about my future and the future of my children. You know, this Mac guy or whatever the case is, stop giving him all of this clout. You know, those of you sitting and drinking with him and laughing with him and saying, yeah, I put he in for Senate, you're stupid. That's my opinion. And then when we end up in a position that people taking advantage of us and doing whatever with our territory and our territory's money, you want to bawl and complain. And like I continue to say, the people at the Virgin Islands need to figure out, do you want to be a complainer or a problem solver? You know, because we could easily sit and complain all day long, but it takes us nowhere. That's like sitting in a car full of gas without turning on the engine. And even if you turn on the engine, you're just revving and revving and revving and revving. That's how I do some brum, brum, brum. But nobody ain't taking the car out of park and putting it into drive. We need change. Not not only in our Senate, not only in our government, not only with who runs us in our delegate to Congress, no, within ourselves. Change your mindset. Stop letting a little piece of chicken and fry and free rum and a big artist sway your mind. And a good jingle make you give up your goodies, which is your vote, so easily. Have some decency, some class. Let me just put it like that. Pull out your pinky, sip your tea, and ask the necessary hard questions. I love you all, and I thank you guys for coming in. You know, before I leave, I want to mention again, you're locked in from 2:30 to 4:30. Well, today, you know, we're leaving a little bit early. And right now, you're here with your host, Tiniqua Knowles. I've got to put you guys onto some major memorable designs. You know, something major. Memorable designs. Straight out of St. Croix, US Virgin Islands. This is not just your average art. We're talking next level handcrafted resin creations that turn everyday items into unforgettable masterpieces. Custom bottle display, statement pieces, personalized gifts. Everything is bold, unique, and made to stand out. And did I mention they're handcrafted? What makes memorable designs different is the passion, the dedication, and the vision behind it. This is real talent, real creativity, a brand that's on its way to becoming worldwide renowned. So, if you want something different, something custom, something memorable, you already know where to go. Memorable designs, art you will never forget. So some of you who are my friends on Facebook received a invitation. Please follow Memorable Designs on Facebook, Instagram, the what do you call it? Oh, the website is building up. You know, this young lady is amazing. I must vouch for her. I've seen her work on so many different occasions, currently sponsored by her, you know, and, you know, hopefully I get her to build her courage so that we could do our live interview, you know, and if you check out my page, you would see her QR code and some of her work, you know, and some flyers that I created. Guys, I love you. I love you. I love you. Don't forget to mark your calendar for May 22nd, 2026. the Economic Development Summit, not just for me, but for you, for your opportunities, for you to grow, in this world. We continue to complain that we don't ever be told about the opportunities and all the hidden gold mines. Well, today, on May 22nd, 2026, mark your calendar, be there, or like Dana said, be square. We're going to have amazing panelists, amazing sponsors, refreshments, you name it. But most of all, information, healthy, in depth information about Section 3 and local preference rules. I am your host, Tiniqua Knowles, author, radio host, advocate, um, community outreach service provider, media personality, and so much more. Listen, the list goes on and on. Big up to myself and my new business, Bridgepoint Media and Community Outreach Services. Big up to all my books. I could go down the list from Polly's Award to Good Girl Meets Strap Boy. Then we get my past, A Walk in the Life of a Dream Catcher. We also have my island children's books, which is Julie's Adventures, Julie Mangomele Adventure, Julie Agriculture Fair Adventure. Listen, Julie went all over. Julie Dungan, and she just doing things. Julie Taught Wars is coming up soon. I also got my new children's book, Three Mongoose and a Snake. Listen, and these three mongoose gonna be going on some adventures, okay? This is just the first one to come. Also, the first ever Virgin Islands um superhero book. I already published book 1, working on book 2. I vexed because book 1 was supposed to be here today, but Amazon tell me tomorrow. You know, Also my self-help journals called Words of Power, and then Words of Power self-help devotional, and then More Than the Mirror. I think there's so much more. Oh, this is the biggest one. You know, I have a book that I'm working on for young autistic teens. I recently published it. I'm totally excited about it. And when I get some on hand, I'll be going to the different schools and donating them along with Julie's adventures, you name it, because the first thing I love to do is make sure that the children's have their portion, and I felt like as if the Virgin Islands needed to be documented in a storytelling way. We had a Nancy and all our great writers, and now I'm in that mix. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to make sure that every great idea that I have, I put it onto paper and I publish it and put it out there for the world. Words have power. Self-help devotional is amazing. I gifted one to my pastor, Pastor Terry Skeppel, a young lady from the choir, and also one of my amazing mentors. I look up to her. She gave me honestly, my first Bible, and it's just amazing to continue to grow and see myself in this manner. You know what I'm saying? The other day I went to the post office and pick up one of my books. Oh, and that one is When It's All Said and Done. How can I forget? But by the time I take in the book out of the package to look at it, I get the hardcover one, and a young man, Mr. Armstrong saw me, and he asked me if I go and read my book. I tell him, no, I ain't reading it. I write this. From there, I got to sold that copy. Big up to Pedro, one of my biggest supporters when it comes to my books. I appreciate you, and I'm giving that support system. Big up to DTF Print, Director Film. I got my T-shirt, I got my mug, I got my stickers, and so much more to come. Ayo, big up to Serenity's Nest, where his energy is nurtured. Big up to Memorable Designs. Big up to all my entrepreneurs. Big up yourself, Derek. You know, uh, Big up to my mother, my auntie Myrna, my uncle Raga. Well, if my grandmother was here, she'd have beat me. My uncle Freddie, my uncle Khalib, my uncle Ronald Pickard, all the Pickards them out there, too numerous to mention. All the Dana was them. I love Ayo. All my cousin them. I love Ayo. I love Ayo, and my beautiful, 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 beautiful sisters. Oh, Lord, and don't mess with them, please. Yvette, I love you. Alexandra, I love you. Big up to all my Sharon, Alyssa, Anisha, Akimani, and Ahmed. Big up to my nephew, my sweet and handsome nephew. Big up Ty too. He is now 3 years old. I also write my nephew a book because Tai too loves dinosaurs, and we have to take on a little dinosaur adventure, So Ayo, big up on yourself. I love Ayo. I appreciate Ayo always. I go see Ayo next week because right now I gotta go for my October crew, my children. See y'all. Pieces. I gonna come back live on my Facebook later. I'm gonna be on a panel, so look out for me. I'm gonna be sharing it so you guys could see it and tune in. Tune in, share, 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 share. I know you belong sharing. Your finger's supposed to be hurting because you belong sharing. You know. Oh, Lordy. I ain't get to eat nothing yet. Nothing, nothing. I just going and going and going. Before I leave, I want to say happy birthday to Mr. Weeks over at the legislature. Big up to all them man down there. Later, I will see you. I like my art, right? That's just some of them. But see you later. What's up, Councilman? Sure, I'll tune in later. I'm gonna be a panelist. And I am going to pick up my pixie them to come home and relax before I gotta go live again. But yeah, though.